I love myself so much that you can love you so much. You can love you so much that you can start loving me. Woo! Love myself so much that I can love you so much. That you can love you so much. That you can start loving me. All right, I love myself. I love myself so much that you can love you so much, and you can love you, and you can love you so much that you can start loving me. You can start loving me. All right. I love myself so much that you can love you so much. You can love you so much that you can start loving me. I love myself so much that you can love you so much. That you can love you so much that you can start loving me. Let's cement it again. Come on. I love myself so much until you believe it. That I can love you so much. That you can love you so much. That you can start loving me. One more time. I love myself so much that I can love you so much. That you can love you so much. That you can start loving me. Woo!
Good morning. My name is Lynn Green, and on behalf of Reverend Donna and the Board of Trustees, I'm privileged to welcome you to the Sonoran Desert Center for Spiritual Living. Whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual path, here you are truly welcomed. You will be validated, supported, and encouraged to be all that you were meant to be. Our vision statement, love in action, every day in every way. We express this love by living the Declaration of Principles on the back of your bulletin. Please join me now in reading them. I believe there is an infinite intelligence operating throughout the universe. I believe this intelligent power is only good. I believe this intelligence expresses as me. I believe through my conscious use of this power, I create my life as happy, healthy, and complete. And so it is. If this is your first time here, pardon me, we especially welcome you. Do we have any first-time people here? I didn't think so. I recognized everybody. Yay! We want to thank all of you, those who helped make the service possible and special, and all of our attendees. The announcements can be found inside your bulletin, and I'll read those for you now.
beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you, and you and I are one. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you, and you and I are one. Namaste. Namaste.
Good morning again. I'm John, and I am your practitioner on duty today. The practitioners, we're on. Are we on? Yeah. Can you hear me okay now? Can you hear me now? The practitioners are the healing arm of this center, of our teaching. And so if you have anything going on that you would like us to treat for, please don't hesitate to fill out a prayer card over on the table, and we will pray for you, treat for you during the week. Also, if you would like a 1-minute miracle with me or with any of our other practitioners here today, please come and use us. It's what we're here for. It's what we love to do. So my reading today, Donna's talk today was about self-care. And I looked in, that is the theme for this month actually, but I looked in the 365 days of Science of Mind, and according to it, the month of June is about creativity. So I thought that I would focus my reading on that today. Ernest Holmes says, "We are chemists in the laboratory of the infinite. What then shall we create? We must say that all thought is creative according to the nature, impulse, emotion, or conviction behind the thought. Thought creates a mold in the subjective, in which the idea is accepted and poured and sets power in motion in accordance with that thought." So holding that thought, would you please join me now in our invocation? Let's know together that there is only God, there is only Spirit, there is only that one supreme intelligence that lives, moves, and has its being in, through, and as all creation, in, through, and as each one of us here, and in this sanctuary, right here and right now, as today's perfect service, which unfolds in divine right timing and action, through everyone who comes in early and stays late, through the inspirational music of our divine Heather, and the inspirational words of Reverend Donna. I'm so grateful for this truth, for this teaching, to be right here and right now this morning. And together we say, and so it is. So I light our service candle, knowing that it represents the light within each one of us here. So I'm going to do a reading from Living the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. And in the theme of creativity, the title of this writing is called Mind, the Only Creative Energy. No matter how seemingly impossible any situation may be, or how difficult any problem may appear, we should never become discouraged. We must continue to do our work, knowing full well that we are dealing with the invisible essence, the invisible substance, the great reality back of everything. It would be impossible for a person to do this unless they were firmly convinced that mind is the only creative energy in the universe, and that we have direct and conscious access to its creativity. Moreover, we must be conscious that right thought and true statements are the enforcement of this law of mind. Man's thought, humanity's thought, is the activity of mind. For mind without thought or directed consciousness would have no real existence. There can be no existence apart from consciousness. Or, if there be any existence apart from consciousness, then there is no one, no thing, and no intelligence to be aware of such existence. It is evident that without self-awareness, there is not only no realization of life, but no life to be realized. Hence, we affirm that mind in action is law. Now that made perfect sense, didn't it? Was that clear? We who understand will not become discouraged. We will know that if we persist in declaring the truth, the pathway to reality will be cleared. Obstructions will be removed. Wrong forms will be dissolved. It follows that we will be both courageous and happy in our work. We will be happy because we are sure doubts no longer assail us. Fear does not possess us. Negation no longer obsesses our thoughts. We continue to make our declarations with calm confidence and with divine assurance. Thank you. Namaste. Now go to our table and hold the high watch for you.
Give it up for the love, give it up for the joy, give it up for the light that illuminates our souls. Give it up for the peace, give it up for the bliss. There's a higher truth we don't even fully know. Give yourself up to grace, feel yourself being held in the arms of a higher force, a high beam full of love. Watch the story unfold. In the play you behold your beloved, the divine, the Ras Leela of your life. And the moment you let go, lay yourself out to her feet. Take his hand and step into the dance. You free yourself from everything that keeps you from their love and open up to higher realms of grace. Give it up for the love, give it up for the joy, give it up for the light that illuminates our souls. Give it up for the peace, give it up for the bliss. There's a higher truth we don't even fully know. Give yourself up to grace, feel yourself being held in the arms of a higher force, a high beam full of love. Watch the story unfold. In a play you behold your beloved, the divine, the Ras Leela of your life. And the moment you let go, lay yourself down to its feet. Take its hand and step into the dance. You free yourself from everything that keeps you from his love and open up to higher realms of grace. Give it up. Give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up. Raise your hands. Give it up, give it up, give it up. And the moment you let go, lay yourself out to its feet. Take its hand and step into the dance. You free yourself from everything that keeps you from its love and open up to higher realms of grace. Give it up for the love. Give it up for the joy, give it up for the light that illuminates our souls. Give it up for the peace, give it up for the bliss. There's a higher truth. There's a higher truth. That was called Give It Up by the Love Keys. Thank you. Namaste.
For those of you who don't know, we have a group of ministers who put together themes and topics that go along with the Science of Mind magazine, that go along with the journal that we had for sale earlier. And so all of our talks, one of the reasons that they did this is so that you could go into any Science and Mind church and have a similar talk, you know. So Melinda made me promise to do that this year. So we are kinda following the theme and topic from home office. And as John said, this month we are embracing self-care. And today we're looking at the evolution of self-care. One of the first works to shape the self-help sections and launch the whole advice genre was Samuel Smiles. In 1859, he published a book called Self-Help. In the 1859. We've been trying to get well since 1859. But since that time, every generation seems to have had the book for self-help, the book of the year. Dale Carnegie's How to Make Friends and Influence People. In 1936, Thomas Anthony's I'm Okay, You're Okay, remember that? On the 1960s, Scott Peck's The Road Less Traveled in 1978, and Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People in the 80s. So in the past 20 years or more, the self-help market exploded. And from 2013 and 2019, the number of self-help books sold doubled and came in at 18.6 million. So this is something that we're all interested in, obviously. But more recently, and I can see this in the books that are coming out now, the books that I read and the articles that I'm reading, that more recently, self-help has kind of morphed into self-care. They're very similar, and we can get them confused. But according to a recent analysis in the New York Times, if self-help is about fixing something, then self-care thinks you're already great. But the distinction may not be so clear. It's possible the term self-care is really the same philosophy, just a different hyphenated word. So like I say, they are very similar, but I think that there's a subtle difference. I really think that the self-care is more about soul care than body care, although certainly body, mind, spirit are all together, all one. And if all are working right, then your life is working right. So, but most of us here are compassionate people who want to help. And how many of us have burnt out putting so much energy for others that we've left our own selves empty? Truth is, we can't give well to others when our own cup is empty. So it is important to take care of ourselves as well as those who need us. Author Kathleen Norris's book, Acedia and Me, tells of her empty cup feelings by referring to it as acedia, which is a kind of mental or spiritual apathy. Its Latin roots are translated without care. And she tells the story of complaining to her mother about having to make her bed every day when she was a teenager. Her mother replied that doing so was an act of hospitality to the self and would make her feel good when she returned to her room. Araya Mountain Dreamer writes about this in her blog. She says, an act of hospitality to the self opened a window in the sometimes opaque directive to take care of myself. For me, hospitality to myself includes leaving the room or my home in a way that feels welcoming, beautiful, and calming to me when I return. Similarly, making a pot of lentil soup, going for a walk, meditating, or having a cup of tea while I listen to music that slows me down can be acts of hospitality to my mind, body, heart, soul, self. For someone else, the list will be different, and it may change from day to day and throughout a lifetime. Using this phrase helps me discern what is and what is not real self-care today. So the term hospitality, I love this idea of hospitality to the self. And it's defined as the friendly and generous reception and entertainment of guests, visitors, or strangers. And some of its synonyms are friendliness, welcome, helpfulness, warmth, kindness, cordiality, courtesy, generosity. So while it refers to others, when we apply it as hospitality to the self, then we are valuing ourselves enough to take care of ourselves in ways that go beyond what we read in many self-help books. Araya, mountain dreamer, says that making choices from this place opens her to the care of herself, not because she should, but she says simply as a way of giving and receiving the gift of the day I am offered. This changes the activity itself. It makes it mindful, allows it to feel a part of a gracious way of living. Taking care of myself by thinking about what in this moment would be an act of hospitality to myself allows me to find joy in the work involved and sustenance in the gift received. And when we feel welcomed, when we feel what we offer is received as a valued gift, it is much easier to graciously welcome and receive what others and what life itself offers to us. I've often heard the phrase, and you probably have too, that we cannot love someone else if we don't love ourselves. American fashion model and fashion designer Kimora Lee Simmons says if you don't love yourself, take care of yourself, cater to yourself and that little inner voice, you will really not be very worthy of being with someone else because you won't be the best version of yourself. So as we practice hospitality of the self, we will be a better version of ourselves because we are mindful of what nurtures us, what fills us up, and we are able to see the gifts that are bestowed upon us every single day. And that's what we in turn then can give to others. I found an article from years back. I think it came from my days in Florida. But it's 10 steps to loving yourself. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know where it came from or who wrote it. But it kind of gives us a few points to think about anyway. The first one is to stop all criticism. Criticism never changes a thing, so it's in our best interest not to criticize others and to refuse to criticize ourselves. You know, we in Science of Mind believe that thoughts are things. If we think badly of ourselves for whatever reasons, we are giving power to the very thing we are criticizing. When we criticize ourselves, our changes are negative. When we approve of ourselves, our changes are positive. It's just that simple. We know that a child growing up in a family that is critical of it will have a much harder time succeeding than the one whose family is supportive, giving encouragement and approval. And that's because at a young age, children embody the ideas they are given. So if they are criticized, they feel they can do nothing right or well, and after a while, they stop trying. If they are nurtured and supported, they will feel like the sky is the limit. We need to be that supportive parent to our own inner child. Remember years ago, about everything was about the inner child? Well, bring it back a little bit. As spiritual beings living in a human body, we will have human upsets, mistakes, screw-ups, but being critical of ourselves, beating ourselves up will not serve us in any way. And I don't think that we can learn from a mistake until we accept it without criticism, because as long as we're criticizing it, we can't see the gift in it. The second one is don't scare yourself. Stop terrorizing yourself with your thoughts. I mean, look what we did during the pandemic. I mean, every little, it was, oh my God, you know. But we're fine now, so let's stop terrorizing ourselves. Let's stop watching the 11 o'clock news. You know, watch it earlier in the day and then play some nice music before you go to bed. So that's the last thing that's on your mind. I had a student who said that when scary or negative thoughts began to cloud her mind, she would pretend like she had an eraser in her hand, and she would say out loud, erase, erase, erase. Now, this is digital, so you could go delete, delete, delete. Or Wayne Dyer used to say that when something negative entered his mind, he would say out loud, next. So we have the power to choose our thoughts. They'll come through our mind and they'll come through negative. We live in a human world of duality. But we have the choice to say next, delete, erase, and then put in something that is completely opposite and positive. Be gentle, kind, and patient. Be gentle with yourself. That's a song that Karen Drucker does that we'll probably do this month. Treat yourself as you would someone that you really, really loved. And that's a hard thing for most of us to do. I think most of us have spent a good portion of our life feeling not good enough or not worthy enough. I know I certainly grew up that way. And to be in a philosophy like this right now is so freeing. And if you think about it, most of us are harder on ourselves than we would ever be with anybody else. So we're all carrying around a head full of guilty thoughts and failure and lack, limitation. But we also have those times when we are truly happy, truly fulfilled, when we saw ourselves as loving expressions of the one. So we have the choice when we're in that space to move to that space. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, tells us that we should approach life with a good-natured flexibility. He says we need to develop a good-natured flexibility. Nature demands this, for if the tree did not bend before the wind, it would break. I do not think that we should make such a claim to divinity that we forget that we are human, for our humanity proclaims the creativity of the divine. Human we are, doing the best we can, and ever seeking a fuller realization of our source. Our experience is filled with laughter and tears, singing, dancing, praying, and exalting, and sometimes falling into the depths of despair. We need to have a good-natured flexibility toward all that we encounter, not fighting against life, but cooperating with it. Number 4 is be kind to your mind. This is very similar. Self-hatred is only hating your own thoughts. Don't hate yourself for having the thoughts. Change the thoughts. And once again, we all have negative thoughts. Ernest Holmes says this, and I think it's interesting. It's one of the things in the textbook that hit me pretty hard. He said, it's not about a negative thought. One negative thought isn't going to bring you down, but it's the tendency our thought is taking. And that's the dominant attitude of our mind. If every day things are a little better, a little happier, a little more harmonious, a little more joy-filled, if each day we are expressing more life, then we're going in the right direction. It helps to meditate, to spend quiet time contemplating the gifts that life has given us. Many of us go to bed with thoughts of Thanksgiving, just a little Thanksgiving checklist about all the beautiful things that happened during the day or week. Meditation is a way of cleansing our mind so that our day begins with a mind filled with peace and serenity. The 5th one is praise yourself. Criticism breaks down the inner spirit. Praise builds it up. Praise yourself as much as you can. Tell yourself how well you are doing with every little thing. Before Wanda came to work for us, we had a young woman who worked as our bookkeeper named Barbara. And often as she was struggling with a bookkeeping challenge, I would hear from the next room, I would hear her say out loud, "I'm awesome." And I knew she had solved whatever dilemma she was working with. So I don't think it hurts every once in a while to just stand in front of a mirror or just stand and look out the window and say, "I'm awesome because I'm part of all of this. I'm awesome. How can I be anything less? I'm God in expression." So praise is the approval, respect, and admiration for ourselves. It's not egotistical, it's healthy. To take a moment at the end of the day to have gratitude for our life, our accomplishments, no matter how small, and to see that we are doing the very best we can allows us to see ourselves in the light of love. And the more we praise ourselves, the more light we let in, and the more we find reasons to praise others as well. 6 is support yourself. Find ways to support yourself. Reach out to friends and allow them to help you. It's being strong enough to ask for help when you need it. So many of us are saying, no, I'll do it. I don't need your help. But we do. A lot of people choose the 12-step programs. They're so very successful. We support ourselves when we take time to do things that are fun and fulfilling. You know, a hike in the woods, a call to a friend, taking ourselves to the movies. Because life is an adventure. It's full of promise, possibility, and potential. And when we support ourselves, we automatically become open and receptive to our good. 7 is be loving to your negatives. This is interesting. Acknowledge that you created them to fulfill a need. Now you are finding new, positive ways to fulfill those needs. So lovingly release the old negative patterns. I had a friend a long time ago, and I was talking, I said, I have the greatest, most beautiful life. And he said, well, look what you created. And I thought about it, and I realized that the universe loves me so much that it brings me all these blessings to my life. And as I thought about the negatives, I realized that the universe loves me so much that it brings those things as well. Because every time without fail that I have had a dark night of the soul, I have emerged transformed and in a better place than when I started. So the author of this list is right. Negatives can be the catalyst that sprouts something new and wonderful. The caterpillar that entombs itself in its cocoon, it breaks down to a soup-like consistency before it begins to form what is called imaginal discs. I love that eventually become the butterfly. So when we are faced with our negatives, we might want to say, well, this is just my soup-like consistency before I fly, And take care of your body, and this is something I'm working on. Learn about nutrition. What kind of fuel does your body need to have for optimum energy and vitality? Learn about exercise and what kind of exercise can you enjoy. Cherish and revere the temple that you live in. And 9 is do some mirror work. Look into the mirror and look into your eyes often. Express the growing sense of love that you have for yourself. Forgive yourself while looking into the mirror. Talk to your parents while looking into the mirror. Forgive them too. At least once a day, say, I love you, I really love you. We may find it hard to see anything to love when we look into the mirror, but we can find something tiny. Start with that. My friend and songwriter, Greg Tamlin, sings a song about a woman who was paralyzed with ALS, actually, and hated everything about her body. She knew her disease was fatal, but she made a promise to herself to find unconditional love before she died. She did 3 things. First, she started a new list of things that she liked about herself. She began with her hair and her hands because she had always been proud of them. But this list of good qualities did not come as quickly as the other list. So she decided to sit in front of the mirror without any clothes on every day. Now, she couldn't walk. She was in a wheelchair. 3 times a day to work on this new list. And she would set a little timer for 20 minutes to make herself stay there because it was so hard. All these negative thoughts and feelings were intense and overwhelming at times, but before she would leave, she would find at least one new thing to like about her body or her life that she could add to her good list. The second thing she did was to accept the negative feelings as her own, took responsibility for them, owned them. And she developed a little practice. She would say, God, these are my feelings and thoughts. I accept them as mine, but I don't know what to do with them. You take them. So every day she would accept her feelings as her own and then give them away to God. In addition, she decided to forgive anyone and everyone she needed to. And again, she did this on a daily basis. As she continued this mirror work, one morning she found she could wiggle her toes, and then her feet and her legs. And the song that Greg wrote goes on until finally this woman learns to love her whole self unconditionally and completely recovers from her disease. The person in the song is real. Not only did she regain her health, but she had a calling to become a minister, graduated from Union Union Theological Seminary, became a minister at the United Methodist Church in Tucson until 2012, and after that became a freelance consultant and speaker. What we tell ourselves is powerful. So I suggest that's one of our assignments. Let's do some mirror work this week. Just look in the mirror and feel the power of love flowing through that to you and to everybody else. And the last one is love yourself and do it now. Don't wait until you get well or lose the weight or get the new job or the new relationship. Begin now and do the best you can. There are incredible benefits to taking care of ourselves, to valuing and practicing hospitality to the self. So let's begin where we are. Do those things that nurture us, and in the process, find the gifts that each day brings. That way, love, compassion, and caring will overflow from us to everyone we meet, and we will naturally be a healing presence in the world. Thank you. Namaste.
Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Dun, dun, dun. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. There's nothing you can sing that can't be sung. There's nothing you can say, but you can learn to play the game. It's easy. Nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can save that can't be saved. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be you in time. It's easy. All you need is love. There you go. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love, love is all you need. Nothing you can know that isn't known. Nothing you can see that isn't shown. Nothing you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Love is all you. Love is all you need. 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 Yeah. Woo!
Thank you. That was fun. Okay. It's time for our offering. This is a time where we put that law of circulation in motion. So I ask that you join me in our offering affirmation on the left-hand side of our bulletin. My gift goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless all that it touches. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I share generously of my good, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is. here. And thank you so much. This is the summertime now, so you can see we had a huge crowd last week, and we sort of shrunk. But that's something that we just kind of put up with in the summer, missing our snowbirds, of course. But we're asking a lot of you who are residents and stay here and come and support the center. So, and we thank you for that. We really do. So let's take a moment to pray ourselves out, and it looks like there's lots of goodies on the table over there. So, so I know that there is one divine power and presence. We call it God, but it's known by many names. And this power and presence is the beauty, love, wisdom, joy, harmony, peace, perfection that we are, because we are made in the image and likeness of those attributes. So as we take those attributes to the world this week, we find ourselves not only spending time in self-care, but time in compassion for others. We know that we create this balance so that we are not overwhelmed by anything, and that we take each experience as a gift from God, from the universe. I speak my word for anyone who's having any kind of a physical, mental challenge. I speak a special word for Allie, which is Ann Cummings' granddaughter. We've been praying for her for this last week as she came back from Thailand with something they can't diagnose. So we know that that infinite power and presence knows what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, and is doing it right now for Allie and for anyone else who is seeking a perfection of body, mind, or spirit. I give thanks for the opportunity to be here today, to be with my spiritual family, and to feel the love that surrounds each and every one of us as we say together, and so it is. Thank you. May we stand and sing Stand.
I suggest making your circle around the middle portion of the chairs. Or not. Doesn't work that way. Let there be peace. I must stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are living a new world now. So let there be peace.